today we have a good old-fashioned declutter. Now, I will say that my collection is becoming more and more of things I just love because I do easily let go of things that I'm not in love with. I have decluttered a few things recently that I already sold and they're gone, so I won't be featuring those here. But off the top of my head, I got rid of Olympia Intense. That shouldn't surprise anybody. I don't know why I bought that. And then also I mentioned that I was going to get rid of Wood Jasmine, most likely from BDK, in my collection video where I talked about that, and in fact I did. So those two off the top of my head I know that I've let go of recently and they're already gone. But the rest of these here I'm going to show you what I am letting go of. And for many in this case, it's because I have other fragrances that are similar. And I just slightly prefer those other ones than what I have here. There are some here that just aren't working for me for one reason or the other, but a lot are just kind of similar to other things I own. So we're gonna start off with a fragrance that is very much a vanilla fragrance. And you know I love vanilla fragrances, which also means that I have way more than I could ever need. I actually, like, to do this declutter, classified all my fragrances as best I could. Some are kind of hard to classify in a specific category, but as best I could into like the note or the style that they most represent. And I think I had like 25 or 26 that were really very much vanilla fragrances. So I was like, okay, well, I have to let go of at least one. And I think, no, I think I let go of two vanillas. So the first one up is from Jeroboam and it's called Insulo. I think this is a great fragrance. I think it smells really, really nice. But this is not one that I reach for that much, and I'm not sure why. It does smell similar to some other vanilla fragrances that I have, but I reach for the others over this one. And so this one is barely gone, although it's hard to see in the bottles because they're black, but this is barely gone. It is a nice, strong, I would say a little bit more, it's not like overly sweet, but a little bit sweet kind of vanilla, a little bit thick. It's well-bodied, and yeah, I like it, but there are others I prefer. So that one's going. And here is the other one that's a vanilla. It's from Yves Rocher, and it's called, what is it called? Queer de Nuit. I just talked about this one not long ago in my part 4 of my collection series. This is like a very powdery vanilla to me. But some people say it smells like Spiritus Double Vanille, and I don't really think so personally, because I freaking love that fragrance, and this, it's nice, I like it, but like it's just much more of a powdery kind of vanilla. So that one is going as well. Then I have one that I guess definitely has vanilla in it, but is maybe more of like an actual gourmand, like smells like food kind of fragrance. And that is Idolo's Love and Crime. This fragrance I really, really like. You can see it's not quite halfway gone, maybe well, there's maybe like a third gone from it. But anyway, this one smells very, very similar to Xerjoff Lyra. And so I've decided that I slightly prefer Lyra over this one. This one has more of an orange kind of quality to it. It smells like an orange caramel cake in a way. Whereas Lyra, at least on my skin, even though it does contain, I think, blood orange, it smells a little bit more lemony on my skin. And just that nuance or something about it just makes me slightly prefer Lyra over this one. So I'm letting that go, even though I do love this fragrance. It's just unnecessary to own both. The next fragrance is one that I actually used to wear quite a bit, and it is a boozy style fragrance, which I personally really like. But I don't think I've worn it in the last year, and I still like the way it smells, but if I haven't touched it in a year, it's unlikely that I'm going to. So anyway, this is Jazz Club. From Replica, Maison Margiela Replica. This one, like I said, it's a boozy fragrance. It has like a nice sort of cozy feel to it in a way, but I don't reach for it. This is marketed as a male fragrance, but I think that, you know, women can wear it obviously as well, because I do, and I think it is pretty unisex in terms of the way it actually smells, but I'm not reaching for it. I still do actually wear By the Fireplace quite a bit. Jazz Club, no, I don't know why. I can't really tell you. I just don't really ever feel like wearing it, even though I like the way it smells. So that one's going as well. Then we have one that hasn't been in my collection too long, but I just realized I have at least now 4 other fragrances that smell somewhat similar to this one. This is from Prada, and it's Infusion de Iris, or de Iris Absolu. And this one is like, again, very much that like clean, soapy iris with the citrus. It's really nice. I think the difference between this and the original is just, I think this one has like a little bit of orange blossom added to it, if I remember correctly. but this is completely discontinued, so it is hard to find. I love the way it smells. You know, I love the original Infusion de Iris. I gave my bottle of that to my mom because that's kind of a scent that she wears very frequently. And this one, I was like, oh, I'll keep this one. And it's still very, very similar to that, but it's also similar to things that I have like Nuit Bleu from Maison Violet. It smells a bit like, a little bit like Ibetira from Xerjoff. Smells a little bit like Trench from YSL, which I recently got. And oh, also Purple Rain from Prada as well. So all four of those have some similarities to this one. And so I figured I would let this one go since I have those others. The next one up is a fragrance from Yves Saint Laurent, and it is Black Opium Intense. And I mentioned recently in my, again, part 4 of my collection video, that I now also have the extreme version, which is kind of what I wanted this to be. That one is a little bit heavier on the coffee. And so because they're quite similar, and I do slightly prefer the newer extreme version than this older intense version, I'm gonna let this one go, but I still think it smells really nice. I just don't need two that smell almost exactly alike. Here's one that I don't particularly have anything else that smells like it, but I don't know. I think it's just too much cinnamon. This is Café Cabana from Théo Cabana, and I mentioned recently when I was talking about this in another video that it's more cinnamon than it is coffee to me, and it's not what I want. I don't think it's bad. I think it smells good, but I don't like wearing it. And I think it is just a little bit too heavy on the cinnamon in my opinion, or at least for my personal taste. So I'm going to let go of that one as well. Here's one that does kind of smell a little similar, not identical, a little similar to something else in my collection. This is from L'Orchestre Parfum, and it is Rose Trombone. Now this is a really beautiful, very formal rose fragrance, but I also own Rose Barbare from Guerlain, and it really gives me everything I need in a more formal rose, in my opinion. And that one is maybe a little bit more vanillic slightly than this one is, and I just prefer it. And I've had this for, gosh, it's not, I don't know, at least 6 months, but probably more than 6 months. I can't remember exactly when I got it, but you can see like I've used a tiny bit, but not a whole lot. And yeah, I would prefer to wear the Guerlain. So that one is going. And I don't yet have a fragrance that reminds me of this one, but I recently sampled one that is similar and have decided I prefer that one, rather have a bottle of that one. So this is, shocker, Tom Ford, and it is Noir de Noir. I think it's a great fragrance. I think it's a very sexy fragrance. Excellent rose patchouli kind of combo. But this one has, I mentioned previously, the truffle note in it that reminds me of the truffle that's in Black Orchid. And I recently, thanks to my friend Jerry over at Shy Scents 773, he sent me just a crap ton of decants and stuff from his collection. All amazing. I've been working my way through them. But one in there was from, is it Bodacia? Or I don't know how you say it, Bodacia? The Victorious, is that the name of the house? I don't know. It's a house that is expensive, and I've heard lots of people talk about it, but I've never sampled before. But anyway, the name of the fragrance is called Ardent, and it reminds me of this, but without, like, it's a lot like this in my opinion, but without that truffle note. And I just really loved it. Like, I just absolutely loved wearing that. So I'm going to get a bottle of the Ardent from Bodacia, and I'm going to get rid of Noir de Noir. Next up is one that the bottle's absolutely beautiful, and I used to really love the way it smells, but I just don't wear it anymore, and I have other fragrances that are lavender-based fragrances that I prefer to wear. This is from Lancomes, and it's called Lavandes Trianon. This is one of those like really hard to find discontinued fragrances. They pop up every once in a while, but for the most part, it's really difficult to get your hands on this anymore. And so I know there are probably some people who have worn this for a long time. They really like it and they would love to have some more once their bottle's gone. And I'd rather, you know, sell it so somebody else can have it. I do think it's nice. But like I said, I have some other lavender fragrances that I just prefer. For example, like Tom Ford Lavender Extreme. I just freaking love that one. So I'll pretty much always pick to wear that over this one, even though I think this is also a great lavender fragrance. So that one is going to go. And you can see like there's not a ton, I mean, it's a little bit less than half that's left. So it's not a ton left, but it's a decent chunk for somebody who's, you know, looking to have a little bit more in their collection. Okay, these next two that I'm letting go of, it kind of hurts my heart because one, they were very expensive. I tried, like these are not blind buys, these next two. Actually, many of these were not blind buys, but these were not at all blind buys. I sampled them. I really, really enjoyed them. And something about my taste has just changed that even though I still think they smell pleasant, when I wear them on my skin, I'm just like, it doesn't feel like me, I guess, is kind of the way I would describe it. I do think these are beautiful fragrances, and the bottles are just hands down some of the most beautiful bottles of all, right? Like of anything that's available. So these are both from MDCI. This one is Cio Cio San, and this one is Les Indes Galantes. So this one is a very kind of like a fruity sort of fragrance. Yeah, it's like a happy sort of fragrance, but it doesn't feel like me. Not that I'm not happy. I'm very happy. Well, most of the time I'm happy, right? We're all not happy sometimes. But it just doesn't feel like me. And then Les Indes Galantes is a little bit more my style because it's a very spicy kind of fragrance, but there's something in it. I wore it recently to kind of give it just another chance before I made my mind up. And there's something in it that's like a little bit of a contrast with the spice and then like something sort of sweet, but like in a sweetness that doesn't match the spice, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. They just both on my skin when I have worn them, and I have worn them each, you know, well, this one I've worn more, but I've worn them each a decent number of times. And lately when I've tried them out, you know, the last couple times I've worn them, I'm just not feeling it. So those are gonna go. And let's see here. We have about 7 left. Let's start with the Guerlains. I know, it's like some of these houses that I'm getting rid of, some of my favorite houses. So it's not that I don't think these perfumes are good. You all know that. I think that a lot of these houses I'm talking about today are excellent houses, and the perfumes I'm talking about are really good perfumes, but no longer working for me, and this is one of them. Shalimar Cologne. This is just a great flanker of Shalimar. It's very lemony, like very, very much like a lemon sort of cookie or maybe a cake, but it's a very lemony version of Shalimar. This is not the Eau de Cologne. This is actually a discontinued flanker. It's literally just called Shalimar Cologne. And I think that it's a really nice sort of summertime option for Shalimar. I wore it a ton when I mean, you can tell, like I wore it a good chunk of it when I first got it, which was a long time ago now, before it was discontinued. But the last year, I don't think I've really worn it. I've picked it up to like smell it or maybe spray it on my hand, but I don't think I've actually worn it out for at least a year now. So that one's gonna go. And this other one I've debated off and on decluttering for quite some time because I do like it. I like smelling like alcoholic beverages, like not in a, like the, hey, I smell drunk way, but I like smelling like cocktails in many cases. And this one smells like a cocktail, smells like a Caipirinha, but I've decided that I just don't reach for it. So this one is Limon Verde, and it's a really nice sort of green, like I said, a Caipirinha style fragrance. But I much prefer from this collection Mandarin Basilic. I wore that one a lot in the summer. This one, this past summer, I think I wore once or twice. And considering like that's the only time of year that I'm going to reach for this, and I only reach for it once or twice, I don't think I need it because there's like a ton in here, and wearing it only 1 or 2 times a year is just, I'm never gonna finish it, right? So I don't really need it. I might decant myself a little bit from this before I let go of it because I do enjoy the way it smells, but like even if I decant myself like 5 mils, that's gonna be all I need ever. So that one is going to go, it's Limon Verde. Another house that I really enjoy is Jo Malone. I know a lot of people hate on Jo Malone because, yeah, sure, they cost more than maybe they should for the amount of time that they last because they are cologne strength. But I personally find them to be like nice, easy reach fragrances. They make me feel like I smell good, but like I don't really have to think about it certain days, or like they're really very work appropriate in many cases. But I'm gonna get rid of these 2 ones that I picked up, not too long ago. They came out like, what was it? I don't know, the springtime. This one is Elderflower Cordial, which I got because I really love Saint Germain, which is an elderflower liqueur. And this does remind me of it, but it's a little bit too sweet for me is what I've decided. When I've worn it, it's just like a little bit, it's not like the sweetest fragrance by any means, but it just goes a little bit sweeter than what I want from it. So that's why this one's going, although I do think it smells really pleasant. It's just a little too sweet for me. And then this orange peel, I really like this actually. A lot of people think this smells very masculine. I can see where it goes there. I think it smells pleasant, but I just didn't wear it much at all this summer. Now, the other two from this collection, which was the Blackberry and Bay, which has been around, you know, for a long time. It was just repackaged in this. And then also the Tangy Rhubarb. Those two I've worn quite a bit more and really, really enjoy. But these two I'm going to let go. I'm also going to let go of one from the Intense collection. This one is Dark Amber and Gingerlily. And I picked this up, I don't know, it was a little while ago now, and I haven't worn it. I did wear through, well, I think it was just a sample. I don't think it was a mini bottle. I think it was just a sample. So I did try it ahead of time. I do like the way it smells. See, this is what I always do. I smell it and I'm like, that smells good. But yeah, I do like the way it smells, but I haven't reached for it at all, and it doesn't make sense for me to keep it. I have many other fragrances to wear, and yeah, this one's just gonna go even though I like it. Okay, the last two I'm going to talk about today are both from Parfums de Marly, and you already saw this first one in the thumbnail, so let's go ahead and talk about it. This one is the new release called Oriana. I don't know why I can't speak today, but Oriana I think smells really, really nice. It smells a lot like Love Don't Be Shy to me. There are some differences. This one is a little softer, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more powdery, but they smell pretty similar. I don't have Love Don't Be Shy in a full bottle. I have a travel size, but I do have Love Don't Be Shy Extreme. And so I just don't feel like I need both, because in general, that sort of fruity pebbles, kind of neroli, orange blossomy sort of thing that's going on in all of these is just not my favorite. I'll be the first to admit that I don't love florals. You all know that. I like some florals. I love iris and rose, but otherwise don't tend to love florals. And so although sometimes I enjoy smelling them, they're not ones I reach for a lot. So having two that smell fairly similar in a category that I don't reach for a ton doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna let go of this one. It was a blind buy. I like it. I wouldn't say it's a fail. And if I didn't own like Love Don't Be Shy or Love Don't Be Shy Extreme, I would gladly keep this and wear this because I think it smells really nice. But I do own a Love Don't Be Shy Extreme, so I'm gonna let this go. All right, and the last one from Parfums de Marly is one that I think I've alluded to a few times. I've considered decluttering because it doesn't project my personality very well or at all, and that is Athalia. I think Athalia smells really beautiful. It's an iris fragrance, and you know I love iris, but it's a very cold iris fragrance, and I am not a cold person. Sometimes I like to pretend I am, but I am not. It's very difficult for me to even come off as such. Yeah, I really enjoy the way it smells, but it absolutely does not give off my personality whatsoever. This is very much a standoffish fragrance, like, hey, keep your distance, don't talk to me, I'm the ice queen, and I am not that. Long story short, I've decided that now is the time that I finally get rid of this, because I've been thinking about letting go of it for a really long time, and you know what? This round, it just didn't make the cut, even though it made several cuts previously. So yeah, those are my fragrances that I'm letting go of today. There are quite a few here. Like I said, the majority of them are ones that just smell similar to something else in my collection, so that's why I'm letting go of them. But there are a few that just aren't working for me for one reason or the other. I'd be curious to hear from you all if you're having a similar experience to me, where you're at the point that you really like or love almost everything in your collection, and so it becomes difficult to let go of things. Because normally I don't really have, like, I don't have an issue letting go of stuff. I am the type of person who will more frequently get rid of something that I later have to repurchase because I need, than hang on something that I don't need. So decluttering for me is not difficult, but now that I'm at the point where even though I have just a crap ton of fragrances, I really enjoy the way all of them smell. It's become a challenge. So now I'm kind of going through this process of like I said, I categorized everything. I looked at vanillas, tobaccos. I don't think I got rid of anything with tobacco today, but looked at vanillas, tobaccos, irises, roses. I looked at, you know, straight gourmands. I looked at some, like the green fragrance that I have. I looked at all these different categories. And I was like, okay, let's go through them and figure out what is redundant, what do I not reach for. And so that's the approach that I'm taking now to this, because I don't want to feel like there's anything just sitting there going to waste. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to get rid of something that I love. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts on that. Are you having a similar experience, or maybe it's just kind of in general a lot more of a challenge for you? Let me know. Leave me a comment down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think it's here. I think I got it that time. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.